What's up, guys? BC Amplified, huddled up like a fucking Eskimo today, right? Third nor'easter in 3 weeks. This is the third storm we've gotten here in New York City in the last 3 weeks. We lost power the last 2 times. Pretty good chance we're going to lose power again today, so we're being proactive. I'm going to head out, get some supplies, and if we lose power this time, we're prepared. We're ready for it. So that's what we're about to do. Obviously, we got to clear this car off again. It is coming down pretty damn good now. But hopefully this video can go out to you guys. Hopefully this goes out before any power is lost. And this video, yes, it's a SmackDown review reaction type video, but it's more about one main subject, and you guys know exactly what that is. That's Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, as you guys know by now, unless you're living under a rock for the last 24 hours, Daniel Bryan has been cleared for in-ring competition. This is so fucking badass because I've told you guys from day one, if you listen to this channel, from day one, you know that there's 2 superstars that just captivate me. Beyond just my favorite superstar, or I love these superstars, beyond all that, they just captivate me. And it's not Ronda Rousey and Brock. You guys know I love Brock Lesnar, I love Ronda Rousey. But they're more that realistic big fight feel type competitors. That when they show up, anything can happen. Anyone can really get the shit kicked out of them at any time. That's why I love Brock and I love Ronda. But the 2 superstars that just captivate me, when they're in that ring, everything else around me is just suspended. Not just reality. Anything around me is just suspended. And I am fully invested into their performance. Those 2 superstars, Daniel Bryan and Sasha Banks. And since Daniel Bryan announced his retirement, it was just Sasha Banks for me that was going out there and captivating me. And I told you guys why that is. Daniel Bryan and Sasha Banks, when they go out there, they love what they're doing so fucking much that they suspend their own realities. They are so invested in their own performances that for that performance, for those minutes that they're in the ring, they are giving not only all of us their all, they're giving themselves their all. They're putting their all into their performance. Whether they're at Wrestlemania or they're at a live show in Des Moines, Iowa. They don't care if they're in front of 75,000 people or 75 people. They only know one speed. They only know one performance. And that is full throttle, give it your all, give it their best. And that's what Sasha and Daniel Bryan do every time. And when Daniel Bryan left, man, it was so bittersweet because you guys know he is my favorite superstar. Not to sound like a fucking 10-year-old fucking kid, you know, oh, my favorite superstar. But he is. Daniel Bryan would be the one guy that if I'm buying a ticket, I want to see perform. Doesn't even have to be in the main event. Let me see him in that ring. It would be Daniel Bryan. And when he retired, I felt it was way too soon. But I knew why it was. He gave his all every performance. And when you do that, your body's going to take hits. And those hits are going to take a toll on you. And they're going to add up. And that's why we see some of the greats in this business have to leave too soon. Stone Cold Steve Austin, to Edge, to Daniel Bryan. And I was left with Sasha Banks. And to see Sasha Banks so misused. And to see Sasha Banks not get the credit in the matches that she deserves. Several championships for 1 week at a time. Collectively, if you added up all of Sasha Banks' championship runs, it's about a month. That's sad, man. When you look at the way she performs in that ring and gives it her all, puts her heart, every last drop and ounce in her heart, she puts in her performances. That's Daniel Bryan. And when I got notification yesterday, my phone was just blowing up that Daniel Bryan was cleared for in-ring competition. We knew it was imminent. I told you guys on this channel, whether WWE clears him or not, every other doctor in the world has cleared him. He's leaving WWE in the summer of 2018. That's coming up. I told you guys this back last year, 2017. I said summer of 2018, he's leaving. And he's going to ROH, or he's going anywhere else in the world. He'll go and wrestle in front of 50 people. He don't give a fuck. He's wrestling again. We knew that. But to see him wrestling in the WWE ring and at WrestleMania, man, Goosebumps, man. His speech, he went out there last night in SmackDown in that first segment, and he was so emotional, as were we. Edge of my seat, goosebumps, when he was talking about the journey he has been on, and the anger, and the frustration, and the depression that he was experiencing the whole last 2.5 years. And how Brie Bella had to be at the blunt of it. As his wife, she had to be there for every depressing moment, for every angry and frustrating moment. And how she was his biggest supporter and trooper and warrior in all this. And that's why, just like the thumbnail says, and just like this title says, man, thank you, Brie. Because as much as we are excited that Daniel Bryan is coming back to compete and in a WWE ring nonetheless, it's because of Brie Bella's never-ending support. We knew from day one Brie Bella's stance on this. And that was, this is what you love. This is all you know. This is all you want to do. We know you love me, your wife, Brie. We know you love your kid, Birdie. Our kid is what Brie's saying. But you love pro wrestling. That is your identity professionally. And nobody should be able to take that away from you without your say. And that's huge because normally, guys, stereotypically anyway, in a normal circumstance, not this is a normal situation, but in a normal circumstance, in this type of a situation, the wife would say, hey, listen, you got a family to worry about. You got me, your wife. You got your kid, Birdie. You have your future. You have to be there for your kid. You have to be there for me. So no, you're never wrestling again. I can tell you guys, numerous wrestlers that had to leave the ring early and their wives forbidden them from ever stepping foot back in a ring. Brie Bella took a different approach. And she said, I support anything you want to do. And if you are this depressed, if you are this frustrated, if you are this angered, then I support you getting your ass back in there. And you do not be angry. You do not be frustrated. You do not be depressed. You go and you conquer your dream of getting back in that ring. And we will be with you every step of the way. We just ask that you do it in the safest manner possible. You do it in the most fucking knowledgeable way. Go and see numerous doctors and specialists. And if everyone says you're good, then nobody should tell you you can't do what you love to do. Brie Bella, honestly, from the Amplified Man and my whole Amplified unit, thank you. And I know I'm saying thank you on behalf of every WWE fan and wrestler and pro wrestling fan outside of WWE, who just loves watching Daniel Bryan in that ring, doing what he does best and doing what he loves. Brie Bella, you deserve the utmost thank you for being a fucking badass chick, a badass girl, a badass woman, a badass wife, a badass mother, who is willing to put just personal aside when a lot of people would not do that and say, you know what? A professional life to a man can be just as important, and I'm allowing you to juggle the both. Balance them. Be there for us, but be there for your fans. Be there doing what you love to do, and the only thing you know in life, and the one thing you want to do in life outside of this family is go and perform in front of your fans. So Brie Bella, I can't say enough. She has just gained so much more of my respect, and I knew she was in his corner from day one to get back in the ring. But man, to see this come to fruition, I can't say enough good things about Brie Bella. Big time thank you. Daniel Bryan, back guys. WrestleMania 34, it is official. Hasn't been officially announced, but it is official. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens is on the sheet. It has been on the sheet, actually, in the last 24 hours. That was the whole reason they wanted to rush this even though it's been 2.5 fucking years. And every other specialist in the world has cleared this guy. But WWE, but this is why they really wanted to get it in the final few weeks. They really wanted to get set the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan match, which is going to be fucking huge. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the WrestleMania card in a couple of minutes. It's almost like Vince, even though every specialist was saying Daniel Bryan's clear, it's almost like Vince was saying yes, but let's keep him off. It's almost like he wanted Roman Reigns to be that fucking guy. And it just wasn't working. And now we have Daniel Bryan back. And you know Daniel Bryan is going to steal every show that he is on because he is that over with the fans. Fans just love him. I fucking love him for sure. And he's going to steal these shows, man. So, you know, they tried for years for Roman Reigns. It just didn't work. Daniel Bryan is now here, and it looks like he's here to stay for at least a few more years. That's fucking badass. Last night's storyline, epic. Daniel Bryan started off the first segment of SmackDown just talking about how Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are not here yet, but when they arrive, Daniel Bryan needs to speak to them in the middle of the ring. And he went on to talk about how he has returned. It got emotional about the last 2.5-year journey that he's tried to get back in the ring, how Brie Bella has supported him. And then we went on to our 2-hour show, which I'll get to in a little bit. But I want to skip right over to the end segment of SmackDown. Daniel Bryan face-to-face with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And Daniel Bryan said, as much as I don't want to do this because we are cut from the same cloth, we come from the same place, man. 15 years ago in the Army, fighting in front of 75 to 300 fans a night at best. But what you did last week in beating up your boss when you knew he was resigning, you won. Shane McMahon said, I was wrong. I'm resigning. As commissioner, I'm leaving. And you guys are right. And I'm also going to give you a WrestleMania match. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens on the grandest stage of them all. And Daniel Bryan said, after all of that, you still beat the shit out of your boss. There was no reason for it. So Daniel Bryan said, I have no choice. As much as I don't want to do this, you're fired. And he fired Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And after he did that, Daniel Bryan immediately suffered the same fate Shane McMahon suffered last week on SmackDown. Daniel Bryan took a beatdown by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And before he did, can I just say that Daniel Bryan took it to Owens and Zayn. We saw the yes kicks. We saw the flying fucking drop kicks in the corner. We saw Daniel Bryan flying around like only Daniel Bryan's landing on his fucking head and shit. That's his speed. He is all in or nothing. And you saw in a 3-minute fucking battle segment, Daniel Bryan's acting like he's wrestling at WrestleMania's main event. Love it. And there's fans out there that say, see, that's why he gets hurt, and that's what he shouldn't be doing. Guys, you cannot tell men how to live their life. You cannot tell, or women, you cannot tell a person how to live their life and how to do their profession. He's the best at what he does with AJ Styles because of how he does it. That's what he knows. It's what he's best at. And that's the speed that he goes at. You can't tell somebody who doesn't know how to calm it down to calm it down. Their career might get cut short. Absolutely. Lives may get cut short. Absolutely. But it goes back to the saying I always tell you guys. Would you rather live 50 epic years in life, 50 of the most epic years ever of living, or 75 mediocre to good years? What would you do? Would you live 75 okay years, or would you live 50 epic years doing everything you ever wanted to do, seeing everything you wanted to see, experiencing all you wanted to experience, or 75 years where you didn't necessarily get to do all that, but you got to live 25 years longer? It's a debate. Daniel Bryan is willing to go out there, and if his career gets cut short, at least he can say he did it his way. He went all out, man. Guns slinging. Guns drawn and slinging, man. And he went there. He went sliding in to first fucking base. And he went crashing in to home plate. Crashing into the catcher, man. That's Daniel Bryan. And that's why I fucking love this guy. In a 3-minute battle segment with Owens and Zayn last night, he went out like he was in the main event at WrestleMania. He was giving it his all. And when he knew the outcome was just going to be him getting jumped and beat down, and that's what happened. After he gave it his all, it was just too much. And Zayn and Owens got the upper hand, a Hoover kick, and then a devastating powerbomb on the outside to the apron. Totally cracking this guy's back. Storyline-wise, the stretcher comes out. Zayn and Owens are flipping out like they just went mental. And we fade to black. SmackDown goes off the air with Daniel Bryan going on a stretcher. Just like Shane McMahon last week. Epic. The story is told. WrestleMania 34. Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan versus Zayn and Owens. On a card. Think about this, guys. On a card that already has Triple H and Stephanie McMahon versus Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle. that has Charlotte Flair versus Asuka, that has AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And then on top of that, you got Brock and Roman, Alexa and Nia, 2 battle royals. I mean, now you're seeing how this is going to be 7 hours of competition, man. And I'm one of those people that loves more wrestling. So I know there's some people, 7 hours is too long, BC. 3 hours is too long. 4 hours, 5, 6, 7. Not me, guys. I'll fucking get some popcorn and some fucking drinks, and I'll watch 24 hours of wrestling. You know what I mean? You give me 24 hours of WrestleMania, I'll be there. So, this card is just, a few weeks ago, I was like, man, this is just not WrestleMania season. This is not feeling like a WrestleMania card. Here we are, a few weeks away. This might be one of the biggest WrestleMania cards of all fucking time if they keep this shit going. Daniel Bryan's coming back to wrestling. He's coming back at WrestleMania. He's coming back in New Orleans, where he last won his championship at WrestleMania 30, which you guys know if you follow this channel, that's my favorite WrestleMania of all fucking time. That was when we got to see The Rock, Stone Cold, and Hulk Hogan in the same ring at the same time to start off WrestleMania 30. And when WrestleMania 30 ended, you had Daniel Bryan hoisting up the championship, because that's something we created. Vince McMahon had somebody totally different winning WrestleMania 30, I assure you. It's supposed to be actually Batista. And before you knew it, man, it was Daniel Bryan because we put him there. We made this yes movement so fucking big, Vince McMahon had to put a strap on him. That's huge. At that same WrestleMania, The Undertaker lost his streak. Even though people hate that to this day, that was one of those shocking moments that I live for as a fan of professional wrestling. Those shock moments. Brock Lesnar taking it from The Undertaker. I mean, what a WrestleMania that was. And here we are, 4 years later. We're returning to the crime scene. And Daniel Bryan's going to come back. That was so fucking huge. I'll shut up about it for now, guys. But I know a lot of you guys know how much I love Daniel Bryan and Sasha Banks and how I feel about them as performers. So when this news broke, I received a lot of love from you guys, man, that I must be ecstatic. You're damn right I am. But I think I can speak for every wrestling fan. Even if you're not a huge fan of Daniel Bryan, this is an epic moment. And this is such an awesome story. Somebody who lost everything because his career was everything to him. Even with Birdie, even with Brie, his career meant so much. And when he lost it all, and for years he tried to get it back because Brie Bella said, don't you settle. You go out there and you try to get everything back. You find those doctors to say you are okay. Brie Bella was in his corner nonstop. And Daniel Bryan nonstop, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Didn't quit until he was finally cleared. What a story. A guy who lost everything and he got it all back. How many people are willing to fight for what they love that fucking epically? How many people have those many loved ones in their corner, backing them up, supporting them? Fucking epic. As far as SmackDown, guys, I know this is more of a SmackDown review reaction video usually, but that takes secondary action today from the Daniel Bryan story, and a thank you to Brie Bella. But I will go over SmackDown real quick. There was a few matches, nonsensical. A rematch with Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. As if Rusev, I already said this, I've given up on it. As if Rusev couldn't be fucking buried any fucking more with this Rusev Day gimmick that was actually starting to get over. I'm not going to say he was over yet. He was selling good merchandise, but he had a long way to go. But the fans were in his corner. That was huge. And Vince McMahon left him off TV for weeks, and then when he comes back, he just has him lose every week. And he has him go out there against Shinsuke, who Vince knows Shinsuke is going to get 50% of the fan reaction. So right off the gate, not only did you make Rusev one of the guys getting cheered the most, you made him an automatic heel, but then you put him against the guy who you know is going to get 50% cheers. So you really just killed Rusev from the beginning, even before the bell rings. But then the bell rings, and for the second time in just a few weeks, Rusev loses again to Shinsuke. Now, obviously, Shinsuke has to win. He's going to the main event at WrestleMania, or one of them, against AJ Styles. But still, why are you putting Rusev in these matches where he has to lose? I used to say Rusev, any momentum Rusev had is being killed. But now the momentum was already dead, so now you're just digging a deeper dead momentum swing for Rusev. It's so sad to see what happened to Rusev. Just a few weeks ago, Rusev Day chants throughout arenas. Last night, fucking dead, man. Rusev Day is officially done. And that's actually sad to see, man. I can't believe Vince McMahon has the fucking balls to kill a guy that quick and that deeply and that savagely. because this killing of his momentum, this is savage, guys. I've been watching this shit for 30 plus years. What I've seen Vince McMahon do to Rusev is tragic. Wow, man. You gotta feel bad. And then Ty Dillinger, man. This was a 3-minute match with Baron Corbin. Couldn't have been more ugly. I'm glad it was only 3 minutes. They botched the end of days. They had to do it a second time. Finally, they got it right. Baron Corbin beats Ty Dillinger. And Dillinger is, I was gonna say he's non-existent and irrelevant. But he already was since his debut. So who the fuck is Ty Dillinger, right? When it comes to horrible, horrible, horrible superstars in WWE, Ty Dillinger gets a 10. As far as booking, anyway. I feel he had a lot more to give. I never felt he should have left NXT. I felt it was way too early. I knew Vince McMahon was not going to do shit with him. I told you guys that. Again, the Amplified Man was correct. So that was a second nonsensical match. Oh, let's go to the main event. Oh, here we go. We've never seen this before. Becky Lynch and Naomi versus, you ready? The Riot Squad. Part 167. They just beat the record of the New Day versus the Usos. They faced each other 157 times, right? Well, Becky and Naomi have taken on the Riot Squad 167 times at least, right? It's brutally hard to watch at this point. Now they're putting them in main events to pump up some women's fucking nonsensical bullshit battle royal. 2 battle royals at WrestleMania. Like, we want to see the Andre the Giant battle royal and the women's battle royal. Oh, fucking break out the fireworks and streamers. How excited we will be. Main event. Becky Lynch wins the match. Again, who gives a fuck? We've seen this 1,000 times. And what else, guys? Luke Harper defeated Jimmy Uso in a match that was so long, and I have no idea why, because isn't the whole gimmick for the Bludgeon Brothers that they can beat the shit out of anybody in like fucking just seconds? How the hell did Jimmy Uso last minutes with Luke Harper, right? But he did. And he lost, obviously. Luke Harper had to win that match. It's the fucking Bludgeon Brothers. So Bludgeon Brothers still do look strong. They haven't officially announced that tag match for WrestleMania, but I'm expecting them to, right? Another triple threat, New Day, Usos, Bludgeon Brothers. It's gonna happen. What else, guys? Was there another fucking match? Probably was. Oh, yeah, Charlotte versus Natalya. Natalya actually picked up a win over Charlotte. That was a little shocking. They had Carmella come out and tease a cash-in. Caused enough of a distraction for Charlotte that Natalya rolled Charlotte up for the win. Was it a roll-up? I forgot what it was. Natalya wins the match. That's all that fucking matters. So they're really starting to tease more of this Carmella cash-in. I've told you guys for months they have to do this. Because Carmella was non-existent. Carmella, nobody was going to give a shit when she cashed in. Nobody was going to give a shit about Carmella, period. They really kicked Carmella into high gear. I would not be surprised if Carmella attempts her cash-in for good, for real, at WrestleMania. After Asuka wins the championship from Charlotte, and she's kind of beaten down too because Charlotte gave her one hell of a match, I expect Carmella to cash in and fail, just like Baron Corbin failed. I think Carmella's going to fail, and they're really going to pump up how dominant Asuka is. Not only did Asuka win the championship, but right after, Asuka defeated Carmella and just nullified her cash-in, her briefcase experience. That's going to be a fucking huge moment for Asuka, and for Carmella, wah, wah, wah. So, that was SmackDown, guys. Again, Daniel Bryan stole this show. The news is still fucking sending shockwaves throughout the wrestling community. I woke up this morning still getting a ton of messages, and it's all over the fucking place, man. This is huge news. You're talking about one of the greatest success stories in pro wrestling, one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time, and he's back. Guys, not only just for WrestleMania, think about the ramifications past WrestleMania, the matchups now. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles? Finally? That's my other dream match with Shinsuke and AJ, was AJ and Daniel Bryan, but we never thought Daniel Bryan would be coming back. At least not to WWE. Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke? What? Fucking, just mind-boggling, man. In the future, Daniel Bryan versus Johnny Wrestling? I mean, the fun you can have with booking these type of matches, as a fan, man, there's no more exciting time than getting the news that Daniel Bryan is back. Guys, we gotta get the ice off of the car again. Every window, I don't know if you guys can see it. I know this is fucking old school, black and white. We do this shit in. But these windows are just caked in ice. Snow, sleet, you name it outside. So I'm going to have to redo all this shit. We got to go get some supplies. And hopefully the power doesn't go out. If it does, hopefully it's not for days. If you guys don't see a Q&A video tomorrow, that's because BC is without power and we're struggling, man. The struggle is real. So keep the hope and prayers out for the BC. Love you guys. Much love and respect. The Amplified Man has to cash out. The blizzard is dictating right now. So BC, and I'll check you.